Waiting. Cool. Let's start. We were discussing about CSS selectors and priority. Today we will play with the CSS a little more and try to understand what are the selectors and what are the more selectors we have and their priority. Let's go to Google. So if you Google, you will find a number of resources says CSS selectors, and I think one of them is W3 schools. These are all the CSS selectors. See how many CSS selectors we have. So as you can see here, this is a selector, class selector, and the example and the description, and of course the CSS version. So which means it starts working from CSS 1.0. So which means, let's say if it is a CSS 2, it won't work in CSS 1.0. So basically, which means for very old browsers, the star might not work because that's a CSS 2. Similar to CSS 3, so this element tilt element 2 might not work in some browsers, might work in some browsers. How do I know which browser work and which browser don't work? They will provide you like of course this is a tester, and also if you right click here and check out, so here what happened is this is basically what they did is they have applied all the classes and try to show us at one page. In one page it doesn't make any sense for us, for the new people. So let's try it our own and test it ourselves and find out what are the selectors and how we can use these selectors. So when you open any selector in the new page like CSS dot selector, class selector, as you can see here, along with the example definition at the bottom, there is a browser support. So here it explains in which browser it really works. So it works in Chrome, IE, Mozilla, which means it works in almost all browsers. And if something is not working, you will find here as a no, and other more details too. And there are a lot of other resources you can easily identify which one is working in which browser or not. So basically you will find hundreds of resources which explains about the compatibility of the CSS selector. Okay, so I'm just closing this. Okay, all I need is a list. Let's start practicing these selectors. So we have used class already, ID already, of course star. One second. Okay, so let's take a new file. Okay, I'm taking this file only. File save as CSS play 1 HTML. Just close this HTML tag as usual. One header tag. Open body tag and close body tag. I'll take some paragraphs. Of course, I'll take some header tags, of course. Know more about CSS selectors. list all CSS selectors. I'll just take some more paragraphs. Inside I take one more, I'll say span tag or something. So I just want to change only that selector's color, and as well as it should not go in this other line. It should sit in the same line along with the all list all CSS text. So that's the reason I'm taking span instead of paragraph. If I take paragraph, it acts as an individual and it'll take the whole line. I don't want it to take the whole line because paragraph is a block level element. Span is the inline level element. When I say inline, which means it will stay in the line. It won't go outside the line. I mean, basically, it won't take another new line until unless it completes the whole screen of page of the screen. And let's try just save it. CSS styles, beautiful. I think I just saved in a wrong way. Alt F, save as, all files, CSS play .html. It's mandatory. That's the reason it's saved as a notepad text document. So I've given as .html. Now I can see a different file the rate with the HTML format. So right now open with this, and yeah, beautiful. I have a header text and the paragraph text. So let's test one by one here. Element, we have already did that. Element is comma element. Okay, this is very interesting. What happens is if I want to apply for multiple elements a specific CSS, we can apply actually. So let me open to a style tag. Style type is equal to text slash CSS, and let me close the style tag. And what else I need to, yeah. So I have already done a similar way like this, right? I just say paragraph open and font size 15 pixels. So which means right now what happens for all paragraph font size would be 15 pixels. That's beautiful, but I just want the same color for all paragraphs. Yeah, of course I can give here, but I want same color for header tag also. So yeah, you can give either star, which will apply for all the tags, but I can use this also. Let's try to have some fun by using comma also. So now, beautiful, which means let's say in the entire document, if you find any header tag and paragraph tag, and you just create the font size is equal to 12 pixel, and sorry, color is equal to red or whatever you want. So if you find these two tags in the document anywhere, it will apply this specific color. Let's try out. As you can see, it's applying. So that is what comma. Comma means you can write as many tags as you want by giving comma. So you can that CSS will apply to that specific tags. So when it comes to CSS priority, so let's try about the CSS priority, whether that works or whether this works. See now what happens? I have used a comma thing, and after that I've used a paragraph. Actually, there is no priority between them. Usually, they run according to the compiler, like from top to bottom. So first it will take red, of course, for both h1 tag and paragraph tag. But since I've taken the paragraph tag and changed the color to black, it's supposed to change it to black. See? So there is no priority because both are same tags, right? Both are tag selectors, and we're doing nothing. We're just using comma for the multiple tags. So basically, you're writing same paragraph tag one each other and changing the colors. So it doesn't make any difference. So now let's try another selector. So these are all selectors. Element, space, element. This is interesting actually. Let's say I want to change I have a span, right, inside header also. Let's try span. I'll say span open and span close. My good. Okay. Now as you can see here, if you open your file and just refresh the file, and you don't see any difference, of course, because I have not written any CSS for that. So let me open and start typing P. Now all I'm saying is P space span open close. There is a huge difference between comma and space, so that you need to remember. When I say comma, it's nothing but you're applying the CSS to multiple tags, nothing else. It's just you're applying for H1, you're applying for P, you are applying for any other tag you give if you give comma. But if you give space, you're saying that if you find span tag inside paragraph tag, if you find any span tag inside paragraph tag, apply my color. So now try and refresh the page. See, it has been changed to a color which I have given, pink. So yeah. So now the thing is, here if you see, it has been overwritten direct tag, which means if we use if you change the color or do CSS properties using its parent tag, it is overwriting the tag directly. So which means our priority thing will change. So this is a tag selector, right? Here it will come. What is that? Tag element. I'll say element. Sorry. Element space element selector. So I'll call it as an element instead of tag. Both are same. Element looks little. Okay, maybe people get confused. I'll say tag only. Let's not confuse you. Tag. Everything is tag. So now this has a highest priority when you compare with the normal tag selector, right? So beautiful. Why don't we try with the CSS to see the priority? Yes, I can, but I want you to do the test priority test, with the CSS selector also. How do I do? You provide class over here and try to change it, or you put at the top of the at the top of the paragraph or on the top here and try to test it. So you will know which one takes highest priority, whether the class or whether the tag. Let's get into other CSS selectors. Element greater than element. So here only you can see actually whatever the feature of whatever the what does exactly do. So what it said, select all paragraphs where the parent tag is a div element. Interesting. Open. Well, so far we have not taken any divs, right? So let's try starting taking divs, since we're not doing anything big in this. It's just a container. It's nothing special, but but you can do a much better layout and a much flexible layout using divs, because it has more control over the screen. You can place the content wherever you want, however you want. When you compare with the tables, it has a more flexibility. But let's not talk about now, since we're going to talk about everything only in upcoming videos sessions. So let's directly take some content and put here inside there. So now I have the div and I have some list. So let's try to take, it seems there is no difference between div greater than a paragraph. And close. Font size 18 pixels. Beautiful. So what I did is I have taken the div greater than paragraph, which means whatever the elements inside this div is going to affect with the font size 80 pixels. You might wonder, you might be having a question, right? It has been wonder. So it has been changed. You might wonder, like, I think what's the difference between this one and this one? So far, we didn't see any difference basically. Let's say both are same for the time being, but let me do this. I'll take one more div inside this div. Okay, open close is mandatory. Not div, basically. I'll take a paragraph. We already have a paragraph, of course, but I'm just taking one more paragraph. Inside that, I'm taking a paragraph. You can take actually inside element, however you want. So just wanted to test it, so I'm just testing it. So this paragraph contains two more paragraphs saying the select selector, and try. Refresh the page. So it is applying for all the paragraphs, no matter even if it is inside a paragraph. Let me do this. Why don't I do this? Div greater than span. Okay, and say color is equal to, what is the color that we can give? I'll just say it as a gray, light gray, and try to refresh. As you can see, inside div there is a selector, right? Span. I have given there is an element span. What I've given here, div greater than span, color gray, which means it's supposed to work, but it is not working. It is not changing the color to black for this selector too. Why? Because when you say greater than, it will look for a span in the div. It won't look inside other divs. So which inside other tags, which means it should be a direct child of parent div. When you say div greater than span, it should be a direct child of div. There is no direct child in the div. As you can see, there is a direct child is paragraph only. That's the reason it was working fine for the div greater than p. But there is no direct child of span. That's the reason it is not working. Why don't we just copy it and make it one direct child. This is a direct child. It's not inside another child. Let's try and refresh it. See, it has applied. and it has applied gray. So now why don't I do this? Like let's say I'll just copy and paste. As you can see, I'm just giving a space and try to refresh the page. See, it is applying now. That's the difference between div space and div greater than. Div space means no matter where is the span, which means even if it is another child or grandchild or something, which means no matter how deep it is inside the main tag, it will work. I mean, it will affect the CSS. But when you say greater than symbol, it should be a direct child, which means immediately after div, it should be a direct child like this. Here, this is a paragraph is a direct child. This paragraph is also a direct child, though it is not immediately. Oh, sorry, not that one. This one. This paragraph is a child. This is also direct child. This is also direct child. But this is not a direct child, but still this is direct child. So whatever the content inside you put, this font size will change. This is a direct child, but this is not direct child. So it won't apply if you give div greater than paragraph. That's the difference between these two, greater than and space. So you can use it whenever you want based on your requirement. So plus, I basically these things won't work, but let's try element plus element. Select all paragraph element that are placed immediately after the div element. So basically, it's like adjacent neighbors, next neighbors. Why don't we try a small example saying that div plus paragraph. Nobody use it. I mean, it's not working properly in various browsers, like greater than symbol. So mostly we don't use it. But anyway, let's try to test it. Okay, and just refresh. Beautiful. It's not working. So some selectors might work, some selectors might not work. So mostly you will use whatever you needed. Okay, thanks, Sarita. Okay, so that's how you need to go with, because based on practice, based on experience, you will get to know which is working fine and which is not working and which is comfortable for you to use. So now I want you all to test all these CSS. Of course, I'll explain the same way. Take some examples and try to test all the CSS and try to test even the priority. So which one is taking highest priority, whether it is whether single tag is taking highest priority, whether div greater than P is taking higher priority, or whether div space P is taking high priority. So I want you to test all these, uh, attributes and provide me this list. So which one is taking highest priority and numbering? You say like I've given tag selector is taking them at a high priority than tag selector. And let's test. Why don't you test this with a CSS selector and ID selector? And you can write class space class, which means you can write class inside another class. Like, well, I mean, let's say here you have given some class to div, class is equal to c1, you have given class is equal to cc, which means you can say c1 space cc, which is class space class. How do you write that? Simple. Dot c1 space dot cc. So you need to test it whether this is taking priority, highest priority, or whether paragraph is taking highest priority, or single class is taking highest priority, or hash cc 1 space hash cc. This is what? This is id. So basically, like I can give same id is equal to cc1 id is equal to cc. So with this, I'll understand which one is taking highest priority, and I put it at the top. So I want you guys to test it. Basically, you will understand if you keep on testing with different options, you will understand the CSS priority. Once you understand the CSS priority, it will be easy for you to overwrite the existing CSS without disturbing the code. Let's say if you are working on an existing website, you don't need to change that code. You can simply overwrite it using your CSS priority skills and make it work. So in that way, you have your own specific set of code, and also you're not disturbing the old code, and don't make a mess out of it, or even don't make it mess so for others to understand. So you can do that also, until unless your company asks you to clean the code entirely. So which means definitely you have to rewrite the CSS, of course. Sorry. Yeah, that's the CSS selectors and priority. I mean, maybe I'll talk. Maybe let me show you this one also. Attribute is equal to value attribute. So what is this attribute? So here, paragraph title is equal to all list, no space please. Remember, never give the class name these names or class names with the tags, saying that class is equal to td, class is equal to paragraph, like this, class is equal to paragraph. This is wrong. Don't give like this. Don't use keywords for the class names. Similar way for the titles also, don't use keywords for the titles. Let's say all list. So now what happens is I have a paragraph with the title all list. This is unique, right? So you can actually identify this paragraph tag using this title. So I change its nature of the CSS. Like let's try. I mean, it's not its nature. You can change its CSS attributes. Let's try go, and you can take it from here, or you can type it however you want. I'm fine, but as long as you need to remember and understand that specific CSS attribute. And here now, not this one. Sorry, this one. As you can see, I'm writing inside CSS only. Yeah. Let's try. So what I did here, I've taken the tag, and also immediately I'm opening the square bracket and providing the title name, providing the title and closing the square bracket. Which means I'm saying that, hey, if you find any paragraph with an attribute title, I'm not talking about the value. I'm not talking about the attribute only. This is attribute. This is the attribute value. Title is attribute for paragraph, and all list is the attribute value for the title. Okay. So now I'm talking about the paragraph where it has the title list with the title attribute. Change it to yellow. Right. That's beautiful. Let's try. Take one more thing. Title is equal to, I'll change say my list. So now what do you expect? I've changed it to my list type, but still it doesn't care because we have taken as a title attribute, right here. So now as you can see, this will also change it to another color. But now I want to change this to red. Why I want to change, how can I change that? Just take one more CSS attribute, but here instead what I'm saying is p title is equal to my list. here I'm being very specific, saying that, hey, if you find any paragraph with the attribute title is equal to attribute value my list, do this. Try out. As you can see, the background has been changed. So with these selectors, how these selectors will help us. Let's say you have a huge website and you want to change it. However, which means with a lot of controllability, you can change any item, like no matter what. Like you can change a paragraph, you can change a link. Let's say especially links. If you're talking about where if you find a title value, attribute value is like drugs, you can change the drug. If it is a patient name, you can change that patient name to different color. So basically, based on the title, you can change their CSS attributes. So similar to that, there are various number of attributes. Okay, you might wonder what is active, what is after, what is empty. So on when you are working on going on, like you will understand, you will we will actually get introduce ourselves all these at CSS selectors. So you might wonder, like, can we are we going to use all these CSS selectors in our conversion? No, we may not use. Let's say if you're taking a table, we want to change the colors for the rows, different rows. You can go for nth selector, nth last child. It will apply for last child only, and even there are, I think, uh, even odd also there. Let's check. Target last visited. Hmm. I'm not sure, but even odd also there. So even you can control not selector. If you don't find a not paragraph, which means other than paragraph, it will apply to all other elements. So same way you can say nth of type of n, so which means you're saying that you can say a specific element, which means if you have a 10 paragraph elements, I want you to find out sixth paragraph and change it color. You can do that actually by giving element number. How do I know this number? You need to count the paragraphs, but there are JavaScript functions where you can find the count of the paragraphs and where you can find the its position of the paragraph and everything. I will talk about them very soon. So, and here the browser support, they're giving here including the versions. So which means below 4 it won't work. So I want you guys practice as much as you can. Try to understand these CSS selectors and try to practice them. However, I mean, let's say you might not encounter in your with your current experience, you might don't know how to use focus, or maybe not focus. You can use maybe language. So you can ignore it, but as long as you can out of range, you may not use it with your current knowledge. But still, if you think you can use it, then use it, because everyone has its own example given by here. Or you can go for other resources. Uh, uh, will they might have given more information compared to this site. Let's say you're going through it. If you still have some questions on it, you can come back to me and ask. Maybe I'll try to help you out. As you can see, this is not supported. So mostly we don't use tags which are not supported, which are not supporting for multiple browsers, but we'll try to avoid them. But if it is, if there is no chance, then we will try to use it, in a smart way, that for maybe, let's say, for different resolutions, for different browsers. Let's say if IE it is not working, we'll leave it. But for other browsers, we use it and make it much beautiful in those specific browsers. But we ignore for IE, and IE it will look normal. Of course, that is fine for us if that is fine for customer. So those are CSS selectors, and I have introduced you today the div. It's just a block of content, but we have a hell lot of things we can do with the div. So we will start devs from tomorrow, and the thing is, we will also use a CSS a lot from tomorrow. Actually, we had used very little with respect to what we're supposed to use with the CSS selectors, writing CSS and other things. So from tomorrow, we are going to use CSS extensively because I mean, we were talking about, we will talk about CSS positions, uh, CSS box model, which we have not discussed in the table. We supposed to, but I just don't want to confuse you with the CSS box model, because CSS box model can be understand very well in divs. So that's the reason I couldn't cover it in tables, though it applies for tables also. But with the latest CSS technology, CSS box model has been taken care, but still, I want to explain how it exactly works. So you will get to know. So from tomorrow's session, we'll start with divs, and tomorrow's session I'll just show you the positions and everything. So after that, we will start directly working with the templates. So we can easily convert any template, no matter what, how complicated it is. We can convert very easily. That's it from today's sessions. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'll hold it for a while. Any questions? Sarita, Suresh, Srini, Sriram, Naroju, Sai Varun. Yep. Yes, please. The more you practice, the more you become an expert actually. So practice means basically you need to do at least 60 to 70 layouts. So I recommend that. If you do that, no one can stop you in converting, because once you're starting, you will have a lot of questions and you start searching for answers. So you will get experience yourself with the. I'll give you once we're done with the HTML and CSS part, we'll play with the templates, at least like 1 week, so we don't get into JavaScript directly. So in that way, everyone, you know, become expert in converting templates to HTML part. I hope today audio quality is good. I'm using my microphone instead of direct laptop microphone. Okay, brilliant. Okay, feel free to ping me in the Skype if you have any questions. That's it for today's session. Thanks for your time, guys. Goodbye. Yep.